All right, staying in the NFL, when we return to a story that we were hoping to get to early in the week. But we go back to the Matthew Stafford trade. Matthew Stafford, you remember him, the Detroit Lions quarterback, been there for about 12 seasons. Well, he's heading to the West Coast, heading to the Los Angeles Rams and the uh, quarterback academy of the great Sean McVay. The Rams, I guess they've had enough of Jared Goff, even though they gave him that, great 4-year, $130 million extension after 2 seasons. Hasn't been the greatest of successes for him. So Goff heads to the Detroit Lions along with a 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick, and that's about the terms of the trade. So what do you think, Drake? Who do you think won this trade?
Oh, it was the Rams, and it was the Rams by miles. Listen, I think as casual fans or people that's not as entwined with how the NFL works, they look at this trade and they say, "Oh my God, I can't believe the Rams gave up all that for Matthew Stafford." Well, let's just be real here. The name of the game for at least 10 of these teams in the NFL is not draft picks. It's proven position players. Like, at least 10 of these 32 teams are not worried about draft picks. They're not, because we understand what draft picks are. They're maybes. He could be this. This is his ceiling. We hope he lives up to this. However they try to, dress it up and make it sound. But then some players, and this is what New England has made a boatload of money off of in the last 2 decades. Some players, you already know what you have. So now you only need to build around what you have. And I feel like this trade was one of those trades. You see Matthew Stafford come in. Okay, he's been in 12 years. I got it. So he's been in for a while. And then you see Jared Goff, and then you see a 2022 pick leave and a 2023 pick leave. And then you see you even threw in a 2021. You know what I'm saying? So you done gave, what's that, a first for 22 and 23, and then you gave up a third for 21 and Jared Goff. That does sound like a lot. But let's be real here. Jared Goff's ceiling left with Todd Gurley's MVP performance. Let's just keep it all the way real here. Jared Goff was at the peak of his career when Todd Gurley was at the peak of his career, seamlessly. Like, once Todd Gurley went down, I thought Jared Goff went down. And we said this on multiple occasions on this show. Why in the hell would you pay Jared Goff all that money? What? Oh, he made it to the Super Bowl. That's cool. Guess who else was there? Sean McVay and Todd Gurley. So myself personally never seen the fascination with Jared Goff. So it's only right that this move was made. Now, you say, dang, why would the Rams not get a younger quarterback? Well, listen, this is for the short haul. This is for right now. I don't need a super young quarterback. I need a proven commodity. Because, it's just a guy, 43 years old, play for a team called the Buccaneers. Sometimes they call him Tampa. Sometimes they call him Tampa. It just depends on who you're talking to. And somehow he came from New England. He came to Tampa Bay. And, they just only playing in the Super Bowl this year. So if a guy at 43, and he's the GOAT, can come and change the future of a franchise in a season, why couldn't the Rams do the same thing? Don't we think Sean McVay is still a big brain quarterback in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I have to believe if Sean McVay goes up to the owner and says, listen, I can't get it done with Jared Goff. I could barely beat San Francisco with Jared Goff. That's San Francisco. Let's known the rest of the NFL. I need a quarterback that's going to get me over the hump divisionally first before I even worry about conference, before I even worry about the NFL. I need to be able to handle my business in the division. This is what this move is. This move will help the Rams handle business because we seen the defense. We seen the defense. The defense was on par. We seen Cam Akers. Cam Akers was on par. Now, Matt Stafford gets by far the best running back he had throughout. I think by far the best wide receiver core he had with Kupp, with Woods, with Higbee, with I can't remember the other tight end they got
Gerald
there with
Everett.
Higbee. Everett. Like, he got some guys to throw to, man. So, and then the offensive line ain't terrible. I mean, it's not like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is top. But it's good enough for Matthew Stafford because he can get the ball out. And now he got a run game to depend on. And not to mention, Sean McVay would be a better coach than any coach he had in Detroit. Just lump them all together. I know Caldwell was a winning coach, but Sean McVay is better than David Caldwell. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Come holler at your boy. But I don't think that's an argument you really want to have at this point. And it's just a significant upgrade for Matthew Stafford and for the Rams. And listen, before we get off this subject, I want to say this: the Rams will be, I think, an NFC Championship representative. And if that happens, you can't tell me they didn't win this trade. I don't give a flying rat's, you know what the Lions do with these draft picks. If Matthew Stafford penciled them in the NFC Championship, you got what you wanted out of that trade right then and there. You would like to win a championship, but we only talking about 1 year. And I ain't saying Matthew Stafford is Tom Brady. So NFC Championship is doing pretty doggone good for the Rams. So it's a win now move. I think the Rams won the trade. I think it was a fantastic move on the Rams to get Matthew Stafford. You know, age set aside, I think it was a fantastic move. And the Lions are the Lions. We don't give a damn if the Lions keep losing. And that's all these draft picks going to do. Get them good players that they're going to lose with. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I haven't seen anything from the Rams management group. I mean, not the Rams. From the Lions management group that tells me otherwise. So, I think everybody won. You know, the Rams got their quarterback. The Lions got their picks. We get to laugh at the Lions even more now. So, they got rid of Bob the Builder. Now they got Dan Kneecaps Campbell. So, let's see how that works out. And McVay, you know, I think he got the quarterback that he wanted. Now the defense got a quarterback that they can probably rally around and say, this guy can take us to the next level. So, we'll see. But as far as this trade go, man, I'm with the Rams here. They won it. And I think we will see the fruits of their labor starting next year, and there'll be an NFC Championship caliber team.
You don't see one of these very often. I can't remember the last time you had a quarterback for quarterback trade at this magnitude. Both these guys, you know, I think they're above average, or they've been above average. I don't know if that. I doubt that's going to continue for Jared Goff now going to, you know, a bottom tier franchise like the Lions. But it's one of those things, and this happened I think almost a week ago now. But we did want to circle back, and you know, discuss a little bit because it is fascinating, and I think it is real easy off the cuff if you're not quite paying attention and thinking that the Lions may have, you know, got the upper hand on this one. And I think they did get some good stuff. I mean, you get 2 first-round picks for Matt Stafford, plus you get a starting quarterback, because Jared Goff's a starting quarterback in this league. I think there's some difference in opinion how good he is. But I mean, you got a starting quarterback, and he's a younger one, and you get 3 picks. But still, in the end, I do feel and get the sense that, you know, in my gut, that this is a victory for the Rams, because I think Matthew Stafford is better than Jared Goff if you give him, you know, the requisite pieces. I mean, it's somewhat difficult in a sense, even though, you know, I think everyone has, you know, drawn their own conclusions of Matt Stafford and his career in Detroit. It's not particularly impressive, but it is Detroit, and Detroit's they've been terrible for so long. It's almost an accomplishment that, you know, I think about, Matthew Stafford, 3 playoff appearances for the Lions. That almost sounds decent. You know, that's something to, I think, be appreciated. Of course, never won a playoff game, but this is going to be automatically, easily the best situation he's ever been in. You are 100% right. Cam Akers is the best running back that he's going to have. He never had a running back of that caliber, or definitely not a running game. The Lions could never run the ball with any amount of consistency. So it was constantly a one-dimensional show out there for Detroit. He did have Calvin Johnson for several years. Right. But outside of that, you look around and you say, I mean, yeah, we like Kenny Galladay and we like Marvin Jones and some of these guys, but there was never any elite of the elite talent that he had outside of Calvin Johnson. Offensive line, coaching staff, defense. I mean, there was never anything that he could rely upon. It was always a Matthew Stafford, like, I have to do it all. And you can some of the numbers since he's been in the league kind of bear that out when you're talking about attempts per game. We talk about completions per game. It was constantly Matthew Stafford to me trying to have to do everything by himself, and not everybody's Patrick Mahomes and can do everything by themselves. So and now you look and it goes beyond that. It goes beyond to the talent that he had around the field. Sean McVay is going to be the best coach he had. I think Sean McVay proved a lot to us in the past season. I think we both thought the Rams would be somewhat, lackluster and wind up being a doormat in that division. Didn't turn out that way. That was an impressive season. It was definitely buffered by a defense that overachieved in my mind, and that it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that going on the strength of guys like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. But offensively, Matthew Stafford with Cam Akers, with Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and the other complementary pieces that they have, it seems like it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think it will. I think it'll work well. Now that does remain a very, very tough division with the Seahawks, with the up and coming Cardinals, and you got to believe San Francisco is gonna be able to bounce back. I don't think there's any way they can have the injury.
Hey, not to cut you out. Well, not to cut you out, but I will say this: keep in mind, San Francisco is still in the mix with this Deshaun Watson. So if that happens,
that's that. Yeah, that could very well shape up to be the best division in football again next season. But it's just, it's as of right now, I think it's a no-brainer. Right now, the Rams won this trade. It's going to come down to, on the back end, do any of those picks materialize, and do you trust Detroit to rebuild the confidence of Jared Goff and get him back on the right track? Yeah, I don't think so either. Is it? I don't know. I don't know if I see that in Dan Campbell. And then the last 2 years since he signed a contract, and this is under Sean McVay, who's the biggest brain of them all. 42 touchdowns, 29 interceptions, and I think he's had the most turnovers in the league over the last couple of seasons. So it's since he signed a contract, and it does coincide with not only Sean McVay, but when Todd Gurley started having those, knee issues or arthritis or whatever was going on. Remember that Super Bowl run? It wasn't even Todd Gurley. It was Todd Gurley like being leaned on offensively. It was C.J. Anderson.
Right.
But it seems like when those issues and injury issues started to creep up on Todd Gurley, that was kind of the end or the beginning of the end. You made a Super Bowl, but you scored 3 points. You scored 3 points in the Super Bowl. That I wouldn't even bring it up. Oh yeah, remember that time I made the Super Bowl? Yes, we do actually, and we don't remember anything happening. Remember that after the fact, it was like, man, that was the worst Super Bowl we ever seen. 13-3. Right. I mean, I like defense, but my Lord, come on. And then you do. I also remember the one interesting thing that happened during that season is Jared Goff got a significant MVP talk that season, and I never bought into it. And I know that the MVP of that team was Todd Gurley. And the next MVP probably was Sean McVay. This was never about Jared Goff. It's like Jared Goff, he's not as bad as he was under Jeff Fisher, but he's not as good as he was those first 2 years under Sean McVay. In the end, I think I agree. It's going to come down to what the Lions do on the back end, but I don't believe they'll be able to do anything all that impressive with it. They'll be the same old Lions in about 3 or 4 years. And then the age point on Matt Stafford, I think I believe he's 32, but in today's age of quarterback, that's not even that old. So I mean, I think you can get, and he's been pretty durable. Not out of the last 10 seasons, he started every game. So this could be something the Rams can build on for a while. And I'm a little hesitant to put an expectation on. I think the NFC Championship game, that's a pretty lofty expectation, but I do think it is possible.